Hi, I'm Duncan Clubb. I run the Digital Infrastructure Advisory Practice in CBRE's Data Center Solutions Group. And I'm going to talk today about the edge, and in particular, the cloud as it exists at the edge. Because what I've seen happen a lot in the last few months is discussions about the edge getting very confused, multiple definitions of what the edge is, how it will work, who's going to use it, what the applications are going to look like that actually need to be at the edge. So I'm going to talk very specifically about the way that we are seeing the edge, both in terms of the design of the infrastructure that's going in and how it's getting deployed in the real world. Over the last 2 years, so there's been a huge amount of development of ideas and strategies for edge data centers, in particular looking at how you distribute compute models around micro data centers that deliver capacity to remote locations outside of the normal data center or systems or cloud systems that has dominated the IT infrastructure environment for the last several years. The reason for this is that there's a new sort of classification of applications that are being developed now, which absolutely require new type of infrastructure to be developed, because it just won't work without it. The processing capabilities and the data throughputs require compute to be close to where the action is. So near the users or the devices or the IoT sensors or the corporate systems that need to have access to data processing facilities with either low latency or with huge amounts of bandwidth availability. And the only way realistically to do that is to distribute the IT infrastructure over a much wider geography than we're currently used to. Over the last few years, we've been centralizing everything, and now we're working on sort of redistributing our IT capabilities much further afield, much closer to where the users are. So for the last year or so, some very early deployments have been happening globally, quite a lot in the Far East. And recently, the US has started to deploy edge infrastructure, and we're just beginning to see the early stages in Europe. But it is a global phenomenon. There's no reason why we won't see this happening on a truly global basis over the next few years, but it will take several years to come to ubiquity, right? So what we'll see over the next 2 to 5 years is a gradual sort of increasing of the deployment of edge data centers, and by the time we get to we think about 2024, we'll have reached some form of fairly high proliferation, whereby large populations, certainly in industrialized nations, have got access to edge compute facilities. This is being enabled by the rollout of technologies like 5G and high-speed fiber broadband systems, so fiber to the premise and fiber to the home. But fundamentally, all of the edge technologies require a high-speed, last-mile connectivity solution. And this is what differentiates edge solutions from, say, just a regional data center. They have very specific network requirements which are required in order to enable the edge applications to work.